add another victory to the win total? We will find out in
Double
just
up
a second and discuss it. What's going on, guys? You're listening to Believe in Bears. Make sure you follow us wherever you get your podcasts, iHeart, Spotify, Apple Music, lo que sea, no importa, as long as you're listening to us and downloading and subscribing at any opportunity that you get. We're the Blitz, Marshall Harris, 9-year NFL vet, Clay Harbor, and I am Gabe Ramirez, and we are the trio that will be discussing Bears-Rams this Sunday. But we're going to start things off the way we always do, fellas. We call it Truth Be Told. Sometimes it's only a truth for one of us. And it might be the case in this one. Clay, why don't you go first, man?
Truth be told, the problems with the start of the season lie with Matt Eberflus. I had a revelation, and just thinking over things and hearing some of these press conferences, and when you got a guy that's so shocked that his team scores a touchdown, he forget he has to go for 2-point conversion. When you got a guy that's still trying to figure out the best five to put in the offense, why? What's training camp for? What's OTAs for? What's preseason games for? Trying to figure out the best five to put on the offensive line. When you got a guy that doesn't know offensive ball, hands it over to a offensive coordinator, but really doesn't have any impact on the offense, that's on him. You got a rookie quarterback. So for me, looking at the Bears defense has been good, and Eberflus has been a big part of that, but there's two sides of this thing. He's the guy that's got to control the whole show, and he has not done a good job with that. Eberflus, your defense looks good, but your team does not. You are the weakest link right now.
Are you saying goodbye? That's my question.
Yeah, the weakest link. Goodbye.
No, going back and looking at it again, and I was okay when the Bears brought in Shane Waldron, but look at this division, man. You need some offensive minds to compete. Matt Eberflus is a solid defensive coach, but the Bears, the McCaskies are so cheap. They didn't even give John Harbaugh a shot to take over. They didn't even go after him at all. They're so worried about saving $1 on a coach. We're missing out on some of these offensive minds. To get a great offensive mind, it's not going to be a offensive coordinator.
Well, wait.
Coach.
Do you put that on the ownership or the guy that was hired right after him, Ryan Poles? That's my question.
Yeah,
when it happened,
now I'm talking
don't you guys
Ryan
think,
Poles.
Right, but don't you guys think, I mean, listen, let's look at it on a macro level, right? Like Eberflus is there. Could you have gone out and gotten John Harbaugh? Sure. Could you have gone out and gotten a better coach, right? I mean, I think we all agree that there can be an improvement in the coaching side. But you're right, Clay, it is a matter of, saving $1, but it's because the team isn't there yet, right? I think that's why he did it. I think you let Coach Eberflus stay there for one more year because the team just isn't there yet. So he got another year under contract. Keep him there. You're hoping for the best. They're headed in the right direction, and it's just unfortunate that in the very yes, they're much better, significantly better than they were 3 years ago, right? Even with Coach Eberflus under him, like they are better than they were 3 years
at the
ago.
end of last season.
I think the future looks brighter, but that's just because of the talent that they have on the roster. I don't think that necessarily means they're better now, like going out on the field.
So you don't think the team is better right now, today, than it was last year? Last year.
At the end of last season when they were on that streak.
It's the same team with more offensive weapons.
They just lost to Anthony Richardson, who was trying to give the game away. He was literally giving
I'm
gifts.
not arguing that. I'm not arguing that the Bears
Christmas
lost.
came
I'm
early.
not arguing. Right. I'm not arguing. You're arguing two different things. I'm arguing that the Bears team is better in the present than it was last year. You're arguing that they shouldn't have lost to the Colts and that Matt Eberflus is the problem.
I think they're the same. I don't think they're better. I think they're the same. They're the same team that's got a good defense, but the offense can't do anything, and that's why they're 1-2 to start the season, which isn't that far off from the 0-3 through 3 games last year. That's what I think. But enough about that. Let's continue with the truth be told narrative. Okay, truth be told, this is a must-win game. And I haven't said anything was must-win until this point. But if you go 1-3, it's playoffs out the door. It ain't happening. I'm just here to tell you. If you go 1-3, playoffs are not happening. That's the truth be told.
Got to be certainly a must-win, right? Talking about a depleted Rams squad who pulled off a miraculous victory on Sunday against the San Francisco 49ers in the fourth quarter, putting a ton of points up. But the Bears defense has to hold them. I mean, obviously the Niners got a great defense, and you only held them to 27 in that tail end. But the Bears, what they do well is stop the run. So if they can do that with Kyron Williams, And then Matthew Stafford's going to find someone to throw the ball to, whether it's Tutu Atwell, regardless, he's going to find bodies. So it's just a matter of, can the Bears outscore the Rams? And that's
well, you could have just stopped after outscore, like fill in the blank. Doesn't matter who we're talking about. That's been the problem. The Bears offense hasn't outscored anyone this season. Period.
This is going to be
point blank.
A very telling game. The Rams are missing their two best receivers, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. They're missing tight end Davis Allen. They're missing left tackle KT Leviston. They're missing left guard Steve Avila. They're missing Jonah Jackson. They're missing defensive end Laren Murchison. I'm sorry. They're missing cornerbacks Darius Williams and Darian Kendrick. They're missing free safety John Johnson. They're missing right cornerback Trey Tomlinson.
Yeah, you named all those guys, Clay, but they've still been able to win games without those guys. That's the point.
They won a game, but this is telling, if you can't compete and should win this game while all of those key players are gone, this is not a good sign for your team. You got everybody coming back. Keenan Allen's practicing. Rome's practicing. DJ's practicing. Your running backs are all healthy. Your offensive line, barring Darnell Wright, is healthy. We'll see if he plays. You got to be able to move the ball against a depleted defense. And yeah, they came back, but they were down 10 in the fourth quarter, halfway through the fourth quarter. I'm not saying it was luck, but I mean, that's a heck of a comeback. I've played with Matt Stafford. I know how good he is, but he's throwing the ball to Tutu Atwell right now. Tutu Atwell had a heck of a game. He's throwing the ball to Tyler Johnson. You don't even know who Tyler Johnson is, Marshall. He's throwing the ball to DeMarcus Robinson. And I'm not talking about the old Marcus Robinson that used to play on the Bears back in the 2000 season. Okay? The Bears should be able to handle this team in the NFL. Depth, when your star players are out, you should not lose to that team. You should not lose to a team that's missing one, but now two star players? No, you got to win this game.
Yeah, I think in order for the Bears to win this game, I mean, listen, you've seen that Caleb Williams is capable, right? I think I saw some stat that only like 1.6% of his throws were interception worthy, which is a wild stat. Anyway, but the passing's there. But to me, you got to lean on the run. That thing got to get going, whether Darnell Wright is there or not. So to me, truth be told, DeAndre Swift. I knew when I said his name, you guys are going to pause a little bit for me right there.
You're the only one pausing.
DeAndre Swift is going to have 100 yards rushing. Truth be told.
Hey, Marshall, can you take Gabe out the feed?
Let me tell you this. Look, the Bears right now, which is sad, right? They only have 13 rushes for first down. That's third worst in the NFL. Third worst when it comes to running. Of course, the inability to pick up yards on second and medium and third and short with the run game is certainly affecting the Bears. Only one touchdown on the ground this season, but they're not the only one. There are a handful of teams that only have one touchdown via the ground game. The Steelers are one of them. Vikings, Dolphins, Texans, the Falcons, and the Buccaneers, teams that are, performing pretty well in the NFL this year. They also only have one touchdown, but I think the Bears are going to feed the beast. I think they realize that 50 million throws from Caleb is not going to cut it for the Bears. So they're going to lean on the run. DeAndre Swift is tired of people telling them that he's only a third down back, and I think he's going to get busy this weekend and get 100 yards.
Marshall, do you want to start or should I, man?
No, you go ahead and start because I'm going to bring the hammer. Go ahead.
No, okay. First off, DeAndre Swift ain't even going to play the most snaps for the Bears this week. They're done seeing Swift run into the backside of his own blockers. They're done seeing this guy run with blindfolds on. Yeah, some of the plays haven't been his fault. Okay, I know he's averaging the least amount of yards per carry before contact, right?
How many rushing yards do you think he's going to get?
He's averaging 1 rushing yard a game, 1.3. I mean,
not a game, a carry.
Swift is he might come away with 20 yards. Roschon Johnson is going to have a big game. He came in, he provided the spark. I watched the All-22. I watched every play. I don't know if you guys did. I watched every play of the All-22, and DeAndre Swift is missing holes. He ain't making the right read. I don't blame him. He's used to playing behind that Philadelphia Eagles offensive line, and all of a sudden he's playing behind the Chicago Bears offensive line. That ain't the same. Okay, that is not the same.
Go ahead, Marshall. Drop the hammer. Marshall. Drop the hammer.
The Bears are 31st in rushing yards per game. They're 31st in rushing yards per
not
attempt.
last.
Okay, if that's what you want to hang your head on, if you want to hang your head on being in somewhere in the third to fourth percentile out of, you know how percentiles work, they're bad. They're bad at rushing the football, and DeAndre Swift is part of the reason why. They can't run the ball. They haven't been able to run the ball. As Clay pointed out, Roschon Johnson, your eyes do not lie to you. He was more effective just taking the ball and doing something between the tackles. DeAndre Swift is having a moment where he's unsure of himself. Matt Eberflus talked about the fact that he had been hard on himself. He's like, yeah, you got to be honest with yourself, everything else, but you also got to be encouraging yourself. There's been nothing encouraging about DeAndre Swift. I don't understand why you're making declarations about a guy who hasn't shown you anything to this point through 3 games. There's just nothing. There's no evidence. This is all anecdotal. This is all rah, I'm Gabe Ramirez, Bears fan, as opposed to rah, I'm Gabe Ramirez. Let me look squarely at the problem and identify it. You know what? I wish your 2-year-old was in here right now so she could tell the truth. She would call you out immediately.
Here's where Gabe does have he can lean on this. The Rams are giving up 177 yards per game, which is second worst in the NFL.
And they're giving up who was worse last week? Who was worse last week?
The Indianapolis Colts. And they're giving up the second most points per game. So their run defense is trash. I'll give you, they run all zone. If you're interested, for those of you that care about if it's a zone team or a man team, they're a big zone team and they can't stop the run. So the Bears should be able to run the ball and throw the ball at them. That sounds very familiar. You know who was a strictly zone team that couldn't stop the run? The Indianapolis Colts. And the Bears couldn't do nothing against them. So you saw what Swift was able to do when he got the ball. When there is a difference when you give the ball to a different back, right? That's when you know something's up with the running back. If Roschon Johnson comes in and he ain't getting no love, he ain't getting no yards, you say, hey, it's not the running back. But there was a clear difference. You watch the game between when Roschon got the ball and when Swift got the ball. I mean, I'm not wrong.
This is a team that still believes
Gabe
Jr. Hold on.
The Bears have no. You hold on. The Bears have 5 runs this season. 5 runs this season of 10 yards or more. You know who's responsible for 3 of those?
Who?
Caleb Johnson. Williams. That tells you everything you need to know. Yeah. No one's going over 100 yards this week. I'm just here to tell you.
I got some interesting stats when we talk about the offense that'll show why it's maybe Shane Waldron's.
I'm all ears.
That.
Yeah, and Gabe, I understand.
Before we get that, no, time out. We got
to. Last thing. And I understand you're looking at the DeAndre Swift last year had over 1,000 yards, but I don't care if you're. This is throwback. I don't know who the best racers are right now, but Jeff Gordon. Or maybe Lewis Hamilton, right? Okay. And you go from driving the best car in the league, you're behind the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. Yeah, you're looking good. But if you go start driving now, Marshall Harris's busted up Toyota Camry, you ain't gonna be able to win no races.
My busted up ride is a Ford Explorer. Let's be clear. I want honesty and accuracy on this podcast.
I want Ford and Toyota to come sponsor this thing and just give me a car since Clay and Marshall are trashing it. All right, we are Believe in Bears. This is the podcast. I appreciate you guys for listening. Make sure you stream us everywhere you download and get your podcast. Make sure you subscribe as well. We are the Blitz specifically. He is Marshall Harris, along with 9-year NFL vet Clay Harbor. I am Gabe Ramirez, and we got to shout out before we talk a little bit more in depth about the offense to our sponsors. Of course, Progressive Insurance. We were just talking about cars that might not be working so well. Got to get yourself some Progressive Insurance so that way you can be covered. Also want to thank Bombas Socks. In Spanish, bomba, like a bomb, like a home run, but it's not that. These are very comfortable. We appreciate them as well. And then, guys, we've been making these predictions as to what's going to be happening on Sunday, whether it be with DeAndre Swift, whether it be with the Chicago Bears, or even just the defense of the Los Angeles Rams. Well, maybe you got to take yourself, if you're listening right now, to Bet Online. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. It also has every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Fellas, I know that if you were to take a random guess as to what the line is for the Bears on Bet Online and where people should be placing their money, what would you say it'd be?
Pick them.
It's even money.
I mean, I feel like the Rams should be favored.
The Rams just beat the 49ers last week.
Yeah.
The Rams, honestly, I'm not trying to be. The Rams should be favored in this game.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm telling you right now at Bet Online, the Bears are -3 right now, and the over-under sitting at 40.5. 40.5.
I'm taking the over on the over-under, first of all. Yeah, and also the Bears. I got the Bears covering that.
All right. Well, if you think you know your stuff, you can get on BetOnline's 200,000 mega contest. You can pick 5 games against the spread every week. Maybe the Bears could be one of them for your chance at a weekly prize and a share of $200,000. And make sure you check them out again. BetOnline. The game starts here. All right. Now let's talk.
Stacks. I'll take that too.
I'll take that right now. You can spread that out over here. Let's talk about the offense, gentlemen. I told you I had some stats about the Chicago Bears team.
Here we go.
And look at this. So the Bears have the 3rd most passing attempts in the NFL. 3rd most. However, they have the 3rd fewest yards per attempt, and they've been sacked the 3rd most in the NFL. Those numbers don't seem to match up when it comes to logic, right? And that is why I think the Bears will take a better look at their offense and really see that that's not sustainable. And that's why I think they will lean on the run, and that's where DeAndre Swift to get busy. What do you guys think? I mean, obviously, Caleb Williams threw the ball over 50 times last week. That's not going to be something that happens week in and week out. But what do you think the offense of the passing game is going to look like this week against the Rams?
I think it depends on if Keenan Allen plays or not, to be honest. I think his presence will create a completely different comfort level for Caleb Williams. And now they can spread it around. I'm not saying they're going to throw it 50 times, but I wouldn't be surprised if they threw it 35 plus. But I think
are the Bears a passing team?
Yeah, they are right now. They are until they can run the ball. They're passing. When you rush 28 times for 63 yards, you know what you're not? You're not a running team. But therefore, Clay, by default.
Okay, but Clay, let me ask you this. Are they not a running team because they're not running enough? Right? Like sometimes you got to run the ball and get 1 yard, right? So that way you can pound the rock, make the defense feel it, switch it up, work the play action and do those kinds of things. But if you're constantly throwing the ball, you're not even allowing yourself to be a rushing team.
It's not that they're not running enough. It's the fact that they are getting behind on possessions, right? When you're on 1st down and you try to run the ball and you get 2 yards, now you're kind of forced into a passing situation. When you get stopped for a 1 yard gain, what DeAndre Swift's average is, it's going to have over 100 yards according to Gabe this week. You are now in a passing situation. Guess what's coming? Some type of a random blitz, a blitz you're going to try to confuse a simulated pressure. You got to stay ahead of the chains. If you can get 3 to 4 yards in every run, you can become a running team and run the ball more. And here's a misconception in the NFL. When somebody averages 4 or 5 yards a carry, they're not getting 4 or 5 yards a carry every time. They're getting 3 here, they're getting 3 here, they're getting 3 here, and then they're popping a 25-yard run. The Bears have no explosive runs. I don't got the stat on it, but they are not getting any explosives out of the run game.
I just told you 2 from running backs all season over 10 yards. 2 from running backs all season. And one of those was week 1 when my man busted for 20 yards plus DeAndre Swift.
And I didn't even know that statistic. That was just me eyeballing it, knowing that they're not getting any explosive runs. You got to break tackles. You got to run through tackles. DeAndre Swift is not doing that right now. The protection for him, the blocking for him, is not great. But you have to sometimes. I remember what Marty Mornhinweg, our offensive coordinator, told me once in a meeting. He goes, I remember when I was young trying to figure out how to fix my run game. I started coming out with all these elaborate schemes. Nothing happened. Then I got a better running back. We're the best running team in the league. You got to get a better running back sometimes. Wow. Sometimes it's that simple. Get a better running back.
Look, so just to back up Clay's point, 1st downs, the Bears are averaging 4.26 yards on 1st down. That's 29th best in the league. To his point, they're always behind the chains. Also, the Bears, 64% of the time they get to 3rd down. That's the highest percentage in the league. So you're not getting enough on 1st and 2nd down to move the chain. So 64% of the time when the Bears start, when they get a 1st down, they end up on 3rd down. Other teams go 1st down, 2nd down, 1st down, or 1st down, 1st down.
64% of the time? That's 60. Crazy.
Yeah, it's bad. The NFL average, by the way, on that stat, just to give it some perspective, the NFL average on that stat, getting to 3rd down, is 47%. Only 3 teams are over 57%. The Bears, one of those teams, at 64%. So if you're always on 3rd down, because we talk about like 3rd and long and 3rd and manageable, but why you got to be on 3rd down all the time? They're always on 3rd down.
You know what the easiest down is to throw the football in the National Football League?
1st down.
1st down. Okay? And Shane Waldron, and once again, I'm just eyeballing. You guys are pulling out these great stats, but on 1st down, he thinks he's doing Caleb Williams a favor. Okay, I'm going to run the ball. No, sometimes you got to throw the ball on 1st, run the ball on 2nd. Switch this thing up. Stop being so predictable. I can call when I'm calling out the plays just based off of formation and tendencies. That's not a good thing. I'm not in the locker room. I'm not watching all the game tape. I'm not doing all that. And he's become so predictable. And I had such big high hopes for Shane Waldron that it's really become a hindrance to Caleb Williams. The easiest time to throw the balls on first down or second or third and short. You got to keep the defense off balance and take shots on the plays you can take shots on.
I love a 2nd 1 or a 2nd and 2 because it's like you don't know what I'm about to do. I might run for this, but if I hit this play action, hit that deep ball, chunk plays, that's when you do it. Here's one thing I want to point out for this offense. This is why it's now or never. This is why this is a must-win game. The Rams, dead last in the league in yards allowed, second to last in scoring defense. The next opponent, the Panthers, 24th in yards allowed, dead last in scoring defense. After that, it's the Jaguars, 26th in yards allowed, 28th in scoring defense. And then the Commanders on the 27th after the bye, 29th in yards allowed, 29th in scoring defense. If there was ever a time the offense was going to get it together, it's now. And if you don't do it right now, I know y'all know what the back half of this schedule looks like.
It's not pretty. And I agree with that, man. I mean, it's more about identifying yourself, right? Like, are you, like, in the grand scheme of the NFL, are you at the bottom? Right? Are you at the middle? If you're the middle or upper or the Carlos Boozer area, best of the worst, worst of the best, then you got to beat these teams that are going to be coming up. And you know, to piggyback 2 more stats before we move on to the defense, the Rams are allowing 72% completion percentage to opposing quarterbacks. They're allowing wild. 10 yards per attempt. So hopefully the Bears can kind of clean that up and
Gabe, if Keenan Allen plays, I'm telling you, it's going to be a different type of ball game. Caleb Williams, you can put him down for 300 plus.
That's well, and hopefully the defense can hold up their end of the bargain. Certainly playing exceptional football at the start of the season, but this is going to be a tough task. I mean, Kyron Williams is still playing well, finding the pay dirt throughout the season, and Matthew Stafford is still Matthew Stafford. So talk to me about this defense and specifically when you're looking at the pressure that this defensive line can create against Matthew Stafford.
Well, I'm a little bit concerned when I look at the injury report as of Thursday. When you have guys like Andrew Billings, Montez Sweat on the injury report with limited, I'm just a little bit concerned up front. They've got to continue to do well. They asked, I think it was they asked Montez Sweat what grade would he give the defense, and he said B+. Like that's what it is. I'm with that. I might even give them an A-. They've done everything in their power to keep them, and they've been on the field way too much compared to how they've been playing. So I think for this defense this week, no Puka Nacua, no Cooper Kupp. Yeah, Tutu Atwell's back there, and everybody's a threat, obviously. But I just think, even though Sean McVay is the guy who's calling things on the other side, I think they're going to hold up their end of the bargain. It's just going to come down, can you score, 25 points?
No Tyler Higbee either. You can't leave the tight end out there. But I think the defensive line can get a little bit of pressure. I know we only had the 1 sack against Anthony Richardson last week when Sweat should have got that strip fumble. I don't know why they blew that dead so fast. I mean, looking back at that play, I know we're going on a little tangent here.
Wild.
That was a fumble, man. That was a fumble.
But anyways, time you lose some.
Yeah, I love what I've been seeing from Gervon Dexter. Watching the film again, he's not as consistent as I like him to be, but he keeps showing up. Billings keeps showing up. DeMarcus Walker has been a pleasant surprise this year. He's not doing anything crazy, and he does have a couple bonehead plays. There's one play he got washed about 25 yards downfield on a big run last week. But DeMarcus Walker's having a good year. And Darrell Taylor, he's not on the injury report, is he?
No.
I remember he went down.
He is. He's on the injury report.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. Is he limited or did he practice?
Limited.
He's limited. So hopefully Taylor can play because he's been a guy that's impressed me too. He's one of those guys. It's like a lunch pail, hard hat. Bring your lunch pail to work guy that's just going to play hard every single play and chase down plays, and you need that guy. So I think you need to get Stafford off his spot. And trust me, I've played with Stafford for a year. We made the playoffs together. Before last season, the last time the Detroit Lions played in a playoff game, I was on the field with Matthew Stafford. Okay, this guy can do it with not that much talent around him. We didn't have a great receiving core back then either. We had Golden Tate, Marvin Jones Jr., and Eric Ebron catching passes along with Theo Reddick. Okay, Clay Harbor, come on now. So I think Stafford is a guy you can never count out. He's always going to have a plan for pressure. So if you can get pressure with your front four, he has a plan for blitz. If you can get pressure with your front four and you don't have to blitz Stafford, that is going to be a huge, huge, huge thing for the Bears defense.
Yeah, you asked about Darrell Taylor. I just want to clarify.
Okay.
He didn't practice the last 2 days, but that's because of illness. So you hope that he's well enough to come back and play. Meanwhile, Andrew Billings, he went from limited practice on Wednesday to a DMP on Thursday. That is concerning. Zach Pickens hasn't practiced all week.
Is Zach Pickens still on the team?
It's looking a little
Pickens there.
Yeah. Well, but Montez Sweat did practice in full yesterday after having a limited practice on Wednesday.
All right. Well, everybody's going to be needed, certainly, if the Bears are going to take down the Rams. One thing I'd like them to work on is that running. I know, the running defense. I know we talk about it, but they're towards the middle of the pack and bottom when it comes to a lot of things. Yards per rush, the amount of runs given up that are 20 yards. Bears at the bottom of the league in that as well. So just got to clean a little bit of those things up to stay tight. All right, we're gonna hit it with the final 5 minutes before we get up out of here, man. Again, you're listening to Believe in Bears, the podcast. Make sure you follow us everywhere you get your podcast and subscribe. And then, of course, you're listening to Marshall Harris, 9-year NFL vet, Clay Harbor. I am Gabe Ramirez. Before we get to the final 5, I just want to thank our last sponsor, man. They sent us out some hats. Marshall just kind of flashed it to the screen right now. But, of course, we're talking about our guys at Melon. I mean, these hats, Marshall, they look very durable, bro.
They're comfortable. It's like one of those things, like this is like almost protection for my head. When you're bald, it's different. Y'all don't understand. When you don't have hair on your head, you have to wear a hat pretty much every time you leave the house. Not to catfish the ladies, but just to protect your head. That's just life out here as a bald man. Because when you're bald and you're in the sun, you will get sunburned. Okay.
The one thing I like about the hat though is like, because sometimes like with hats or gym shoes, like you try to wash them, you put them in the washer, maybe you buy that little hat thing. Like Melon is one of these hats that you don't like. If you need to wash it, they come right back to the exact shape that was there when you first got it. It's so comfortable. I like it. Clay, you like the snapbacks or do you need like the super extra large that they have for every size head?
That's a good one, man. No, I do have a size 8 head, but I'm a big snapback.
Whoa, you're an 8?
You're
an 8? I'm a 7. I'm a 7.
Naturally wears a guardian cap. I got a 7.5. We got big heads here.
My brain's so big, but I love a good snapback. Before I had too much hair to put a hat on, bro, I would kill the snapback game when my head was looking like Gabe's.
Now he's down to that last snap on the snapback.
Exactly.
But make sure hat on. So
make sure you check them out online everywhere you can get your hats. You can have a fit finder on there, which is actually pretty cool, where you can actually go in and, figure out which hat is going to be the best for you. But man, we appreciate them jumping on board with us. It's Chicago. We're a hat town, but you can go to melon.com. That's MELIN.com and put it to test yourself. All right, gentlemen, before we get out of here, 2 key important things that I want to get from you guys. Best matchup of the day on Sunday and predicted score. What you guys got? No.
Listen, the matchup is simple. Sean McVay, Matt Eberflus, straight up. Head coach, offense mind, defense mind. Let's ride.
I hear that.
I can't wait to see how this schematically breaks down and the choices that are made both sides.
What score?
Score? I got it. We're gonna say 28-20. Oh no, 24-20. 24-20 Bears. 24-20 Bears.
Clay, best matchup and score prediction.
I like Jared Verse and Braden Fisk rank first and second among total pressures for rookies. Verse has 13, Fisk has 11. So both these guys, defensive tackle and edge rusher, can play. They're young, but I want to see what they do against the interior Bears line, and they'll move around up front. And the exterior Bears line, if Darnell Wright plays, Braxton Jones, maybe Matt Pryor if Braxton's out. Obviously, Tevin in the middle there. If it's going to be Nate Davis, if Matt Pryor's on the outside, and then Coleman Shelton, how can they handle Fisk, who's fast, explosive? We all remember what he's able to do in the NFL Combine, running a 4.67 as a defensive tackle. Jared Verse, one of the best pass rushers coming out of the draft. He was first round from Florida State for a reason. So these kids are young, but what can they do against the Bears' offensive line? And on the flip side of that, can the Bears' offensive line handle a couple of rookies that have had some success? And we know Caleb, when he's under pressure, he has a 13.7 passer rating, the second lowest among all 32 qualifying quarterbacks. And when kept clean, Caleb has an 84% passer rating through the first 2 games. So keep them clean, keep the pressure off of them. Caleb is going to do much better. So that's my matchup of the day.
And that prediction?
And my prediction is 21-20 Rams.
Oh,
You know what? I can't be mad at that. Seeing what we've seen.
I've seen
I mean,
Stafford do it too many times. Come back in that year when I was with the Lions, and we went on that playoff run. We just won comeback after comeback after comeback after comeback. Young team, that's what happens too.
Hopefully the Bears defense doesn't allow that last second touchdown to take place. My best matchup for me is going to be Quentin Lake and Cole Kmet. I mean, Cole Kmet obviously has come on over the last couple of games where you can see that there's a level of confidence that Caleb has in getting him the ball. And of course, with Keenan Allen potentially not being there, there's going to be a little bit more opportunities for him. So Quentin Lake, if he can handle Cole Kmet, that free safety up the middle, I think Cole will be able to get busy on that. My predicted score, Bears are going to be at home. They got to put some damn points on the board early, man.
Do they? Because they've got three first quarter points this season.
Guys, here's what I'm saying. Here, like, I haven't gotten too angry yet, but look, you guys are talking as if games 1, 2, and 3 are the blueprint for the rest of the season. Like all 17 games are going to go exactly the same. And
I'm not saying that. I'm just
I'm anticipating it. So I'm anticipating the change. I'm anticipating the outlier of a game, so to speak, as you guys. So I'm going to say. So yes, they do have to score early. I'm going to say.
Come on, Gabe. Just give us your prediction. Stop dramatizing it.
17-10 Bears.
Ooh, low scoring game, and you're going to hold
scoring game.
You got the under.
I got the under, man. Like you said, I'm tired of this Bears team not putting up points. The defense is there, and it always ends up being a sloppy game. So I could see it being sloppy. And 17-10 Bears. That's what I'm.
Before we go, I want to ask you guys one thing. I just this one's been on my mind, and I wanted to get your guys' take because you're obviously around Chicago. What's your thoughts on Justin saying?
Oh, Clay broke up.
He did break up. Hold on.
Justin. No. The Justin bugs.
Justin heard you talking about him, and they froze you. Clay, ask that question one more time.
What do you guys think about Justin saying what he said about the Bears coaching versus the Pittsburgh Steelers coaching in that podcast?
But that's like me telling you that the sky is blue. You know it already. It's not shocking.
Clay, right? the way you're asking me, what do I think about it? But like I told you when we made our predictions about who was going to the playoffs and why, I told you who was going to be in the playoffs, and y'all both scoffed at me. I said Pittsburgh Steelers will be in the playoffs, and then once I explained the why. The coaching staff, you were like, I can't really.
Tomlin finds a way.
Yeah,
and it's not pretty, right? It's not like he's winning games.
They've given up 16 points through 3 games. They've given up 16 points through 3 games.
Defense. It's great defense. All right, we appreciate you guys for listening. As always, make sure you guys, if you like what you hear, subscribe, stream, download the whole 9. Make sure you follow us on social media. He's at M Harris on air. Clay Harbor's at C Harbs 82. And I am Chicago_Gabe. We are the Blitz. Thank you guys for listening. Bear down. Hopefully we get this victory. And we're talking about hitting the over and the Bears putting up 50 points. Let's go.
50 points? 50 points? Right. I don't know about that.
Until next time, guys. Holla.